How's it going, everyone? I'm Chase Lee reporting for DallasMoviescreenings.com, and I got another movie to review for you guys, and that would be Christine. Now, if you guys know what this movie is about, it's about Christine Chubbuck from the 1970s who tragically committed suicide live on broadcast television back in the day. And I mean, that's basically all you need to know. And I remember when this movie started, playing in like Sundance, and I believe it played at the Cannes Film Festival and Toronto International Film Festival. It was getting a lot of buzz for Rebecca Hall's performance as Christine, the main character, and I was really excited to see it. And how did it come out? I thought it was pretty good. I didn't think it was like excellent or like, passing, like some type of like breaking ground for film, but I thought it was pretty good. So let's get real and break down Christine. So we'll start with the writing and directing. In terms of the writing and whatnot, this movie's taking place over one event, and so you have to kind of fill out the movie, like how far you go back in the past to build up to that moment of that tragic moment and whatnot. So I think for the most part, this movie did fine. It's a nice build-up, but I felt like everything was rushed. I don't know if anyone else saw this, but I felt like as the movie was progressing, I was very interested in the subject matter and the person, Christine herself, and her struggle with like depression and her suicidal tendencies. I thought all this stuff was great, but it was really never explored that much. I felt like it was just kind of on the surface, kind of like, hey, she's kind of got depression. She's kind of unhinged, and like all the people around her, just kind of there and whatnot. I don't know. I feel like there was a more depth than I thought there would be. But I think as an overall story, I think it's fine. I think it's a nice lead up to that event and whatnot. And that's the other thing, the actual event of her shooting herself on camera. I don't need like some long scene, but I felt like that was too quick too. It just kind of like, I knew it was coming, but I didn't feel the anticipation. I didn't feel the tension that I thought I would, I knew that part was coming because there's only 10 minutes left in the movie, but it just happened really fast and whatnot. But I don't think that's what the director was going for. I think the director was trying to go for a more subtle approach because there is a lot of, themes about this movie to where you're like, is Christine actually the sane one of the entire group? And the very last shot of the movie kind of points that out where like when you watch the last shot of the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about, but you're like, wow, this is not what this character was throughout the movie. But it makes a lot of sense, and she's doing a lot of like hiding hiding her true self in front of the public. So I find that kind of interesting because Christine was very outspoken, and this was during the time where if it bleeds, it leads. So they were news stations were trying to find the most graphic stories to try to spike up viewership and whatnot. And Christine was totally against that. She was like, I really wanted to just show good, genuine news that is very informational and stuff. Not this garbage. And she started to lose her mind over it because her manager was like, you need to do this. And she kept trying to do that. And, there's like, you need to make it, a lot more real and grittier. And it's just like, and she eventually cracked. And, she's like, this is the first time you're going to see this on broadcast television. This is a first. I'm going to commit live suicide. And it just happens and it's just gone. And a lot can be said about, the whole news culture and how they've shifted to like, good, wholesome, truthful news to like, trying to find, car crashes, like the latest like deaths or whatever. Like, it's just an interesting shift that news stations had, but they also made a good point in the movie to where it's like, we like that stuff. And they said, well, if people didn't like this, why are they watching it? And that's also a good kind of question to raise up in terms of like a psychological manner, in terms of how humans are and how we, fantasize about deaths and violence and stuff, and we want to see that in our news. And humans like to be feared. They like to live in fear, and it's just it's just really interesting and stuff. But once again, the director brought up all those themes and whatnot and all those questions, but I feel like nothing was really ever explored. Even though I do really enjoy the story as a whole, I thought it was constructed very well. There were some really great memorable lines with some really great performances from Rebecca Hall, and she delivered those lines. But as far as like characters and character depth and just story and overall richness with the emotional intensity, I felt like it was lacking a little bit. So going into the direction, I thought for the most part, it was a well-constructed story, and I was really interested and engaged. I just felt like it was never kind of explored with kind of her depression and whatnot. Yes, they would show kind of glimpses and then would cut to a couple scenes and whatnot, But I honestly wish this movie was longer. It was just a little shy, 5 minutes shy of 2 hours. And I think that if you made it a little longer and kind of explore Christine a little bit more, I think it probably would have been a little bit more impactful. But I don't know. Maybe that a little under 2 hour runtime was the perfect length. And maybe the director proved me wrong and was like, no, this is the best way we could tell this. But I think overall he did a pretty good job. Acting wise, this is where it outshines the most. I think Rebecca Hall completely killed it as well. That was very tasteless. I apologize. I think she did very well in her role, and I think she's definitely by far the very best part about this movie. I think she does bring, the quietness of the character and kind of the unpredictability of the character, and I really felt for her, and I was like, I'm totally on your side, Christina. I do not want to see news go down this way, and I'm glad she fought to the very end of trying to prove her point. That good news is the best news out there, and we shouldn't manipulate people like this. And it was just such a weird shift for news back in the day, and I think she did a very good job standing up to him and stuff. But unfortunately, her depression and her tendencies got to the better of her, and I wish she was still around today, but unfortunately, that is not so. But I think overall, Rebecca Hall delivered that performance very, very well. Supporting cast does very well too, and I think Michael C. Hall is a very good supporting character for that movie. And it's just like he was that one person that like wanted to hang out with Christine and be her friend, and then he just turns out to be another regular person. I'm just like, that's not really a spoiler. That's just like, that's Michael C. Hall, man. No, I've always been really curious to see how his career would kind of blossom after Dexter and stuff. That's one of my favorite shows. I think overall he did a very good job, but let's not make no mistake about it. Supporting cast can do good all day, every day. But this is Rebecca Hall's movie, and she completely just outshines everyone, and she completely just delivers a great portrayal of this real life person. So apologize to the Chubbuck family that's watching this. Sorry for that joke earlier. I did not, or that pun. Sorry, I did not mean to say that. I feel bad now. Cinematography wise, this movie is shot very, very well, and I really love the aesthetic of the colors popping out from the 70s. I love the props and the costumes, and just everything about this is soaked in that time frame. I loved everyone's hairstyles and just everyone's clothing, and I just thought it matched very well. And so when you have the richness and the colorfulness of that decade, and you have the cinematography, it just makes it pop out even more, and just it invites you into this fast-paced society that is news and broadcast television. So I thought mixing with the costumes and the props and hairstyling and all that stuff, I thought the cinematography was just very well done for that time frame. Editing wise, like I said, hour and 55 minutes. Once again, I thought you could have gone a little bit more in depth, and I kind of definitely used a little bit more character, I guess. I don't know. It was just maybe that's my fault. Maybe I was so into the movie that when it was over, I was like, that's it. Like I realized it was going up to that point, but I figured there'd be more. But maybe that was a good thing on my end. Because I enjoyed it that much. I was into it. I was sucked into the story. But I still contend that there should have been a little bit more and kind of explored, the psychosis of Christine's character and whatnot. So that's just a preference. So, so overall, guys, I think this is a very good movie about a certain event that happened. Rebecca Hall is going to get nominated for an Oscar. I think she's that good. Supporting cast is fine. Wish there was a little bit more depth, but overall, guys, it's a very entertaining movie. It is a very important movie and raises a lot of questions about our society and how we enjoy, the sick, demented, violent stuff versus, the good, wholesome stuff, and how Christine might have been the same one. She made the most sense throughout the entire movie. Everyone else was just kind of rolling with it, like, yeah, we should change over ratings because it's all about money, right? And it's not about morality. And, she made the most sense. So I actually was on her side the entire time. She was never crazy to me. She actually made the most sense. And it was just a tragic that we lost someone like that. So Christine, very good, strong main performance. I'm going to give Christine a B plus. So have you seen Christine with Rebecca Hall? Do you think she deserves an Oscar nomination? And what did you think of the overall movie? Comment in the place around my face and let me know. And if the Chubbuck family happens to come across my review, my deepest condolences for your loss. Still to this very day, it is a tragic thing to witness. And I hope this movie did justice, showing the good side and the good person that Christine was. So that will do it for this review, guys. I'm Chase Lee, reporting for DallasMovieScreens.com, and tune in next time for whatever I review next. I will see you guys later.